Live from 17 News, your local election headquarters, the California recall election.
Good evening to you. Thanks for joining us here at 11 o'clock for the recall election edition of 17 News at 11. I'm Tammy Milchak.
And I'm Jim Scott. Thanks for stopping in tonight. Some might call it the recall that wasn't. NBC News and the Associated Press both projecting tonight that California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom has staved off an attempt to remove him from office.
Newsom faced serious headwinds and multiple crises as polls over the summer showed a tight race. But Newsom, with the help of national Democratic leaders like President Joe Biden, has apparently succeeded in rousing Democratic voters with a message that warned a Republican replacement would roll back COVID protections. The governor giving a victory speech just before 9 o'clock tonight when the projections first came in that he would not be recalled from office.
And so I'm humbled and grateful to the millions and millions of Californians that exercise their fundamental right to vote and express themselves so overwhelmingly by rejecting the division, by rejecting the cynicism, by rejecting so much of the negativity that's defined our politics in this country over the course of so many years. Democracy is not a football. You don't throw it around. It's more like a, I don't know, antique vase. You can drop it and smash it in a million different pieces. And that's what we're capable of doing if we don't stand up to meet the moment and push back.
The governor confident tonight that the final election results will mirror those earlier projections. Early returns are likely to look artificially blue since Democratic voters often like to vote early by mail, while many Republicans want to wait until Election Day to cast their vote. Some Republicans have already started to sow the seeds of doubt about the integrity of the vote and the election, with former President Donald Trump calling the vote rigged, and Newsom's top contender, Larry Elder's campaign, promoting a website that claimed it had found fraud in the results before any vote returns were even released.
Well, Larry Elder himself speaking about an hour after Governor Newsom regarding tonight's projected results.
As you know, my opponent, Governor Gavin Newsom, come on. Let's be gracious. Let's be gracious in defeat. And by the way, we may have lost the battle, but we are going to win the war.
Despite flirting with claims of potential election fraud during the campaign, Elder tonight seemingly admitting defeat and urging his followers to stay invested in future elections.
So here's a look at statewide results as of this hour. 63% of the precincts statewide reporting in. 65% of California voters said no to the recall of Gavin Newsom. 34% favored the recall. Had the recall been successful, there was a large list of candidates vying for a spot to replace the governor. Of course, the top vote getter statewide, Larry Elder, followed by Democrat Kevin Paffrath, and then Kevin Faulconer and Brandon Ross, another Democratic candidate.
Here's a look at some results for Kern County, with 39% of the votes counted so far, 55% voting for the recall, 44% voting no. And in Kern County, the top vote getter for question 2, who would you want to replace Newsom if he is recalled? Larry Elder getting 60% of the vote, followed by John Cox with 8%, Kevin Faulconer, and then Kevin Paffrath.
And there's this tonight. 17 News learning that California legislature's 2 election committee chairmen are set to hold a press conference tomorrow about plans to reform California's gubernatorial recall process. Democratic Assemblymember Mark Berman of Menlo Park and Democratic Senator Steve Glazer of Contra Costa County describe the current recall system as broken and say changes must be made to make it more difficult to recall a sitting governor. Democratic voters aligned with Governor Newsom gathering tonight at the Central Labor Council headquarters in Bakersfield to watch the numbers come in. 17's Christian Galeno talked with them after they learned that Governor Newsom was the projected winner.
That's right. Well, the celebration is dwindling down here at the Kim Central Labor Council, and it was where everyone gathered tonight, at least local Democrats. They did trade in the typical watch party for a boots-on-the-ground last-minute campaign to get those last-minute votes in as well. Joining me now is Imelda Ceja Bukowicz, chair of the Central Labor Council here now. Imelda, tell us a little about how are you feeling tonight?
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't even express how I'm feeling. We're so excited that actually he has already been claimed victory. God, we're so excited.
Now, what does this mean for not only, you obviously advocate for workers of Kern County as well. What does that mean for Kern County workers? But then also, what does that mean for the entire state?
For the whole state, we can hopefully see less deaths, less COVID. And so, Gavin Newsom has done a lot of good for California. Our cases for COVID are the lowest in the country. He's provided sick pay for essential workers and workers all over the place. He's mandated the mask for our protection, our safety, and he's done so good, and we are so excited, and you can rest assured that we are going to be healthy and we're going to beat this pandemic.
Definitely. Well, those were the words straight from our local Democrats who are ecstatic at the results of tonight's election as well, and we're going to continue celebrating here with them as well. So we're going to send it back to you guys in the studio. Christian Galeno, 17 News.
All right. Meantime, 17's Robert Price joined the pro-recall watch party at Rusty's Pizza Parlor in Southwest Bakersfield tonight. He says Republicans are not disheartened by the news, but more determined than ever to go after Newsom in 2022.
Jim, Tammy, the party's just about over here at Rusty's Pizza, which was supposed to be the farewell Gavin Newsom party. Didn't turn out that way. A harsh reminder for deep red Kern County that they still are in the middle of deep blue California. I am here now with Matthew Martin, who's the executive director of the Kern County Republican Party. Did I say it right this time?
Yes, sir, you did.
All right. We were talking earlier about some of the concerns you had about this election. Not only is it a 2-to-1 Democratic advantage in terms of registration, but there are some other things in terms of the finances of the race that concerns you. Tell me about them.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2 years ago with the Josh Newman recall, when he was recalled over the gas tax, the Democrats didn't like that. So they said, even though we already have a supermajority, Bob, let's try and strengthen that a little bit more. And so what we're going to do is anybody being recalled is going to have the ability to raise unlimited money, where anybody that's challenging them in that recall has to stay under the limits that have previously been set by the Fair Political Practice Commission. And so in the case of governor, $50,000, per contributor. And when that was lifted, in the last 2 weeks alone, Governor Newsom got over $5 million from just 3 folks. So that's a significant problem right off the bat. But I want to say, we're really encouraged here because from the very beginning of this, Governor Newsom and the Democrats said this was a Republican recall, and they said it again and again and again. Well, when we look at our registration in the state of California, Republicans make up about 22% of the registration. And right now, when we're looking at the numbers, although early, we're at 33, almost 34%. So that says right there that we have hundreds of thousands, if not potentially millions of Californians that are no party preference, that are Democrats, and all types of voters from every different walk of life that said they've had enough of Gavin Newsom. So we're going to take that momentum. We're excited and move forward for 2022.
All right. Well, Matthew Martin, thank you very much. Once again, the Republicans here licking their wounds a little bit, but they're looking forward to next year, just a little more than 14 months, actually a little less than 14 months away from November 2022. From Republican headquarters for the evening at Rusty's Pizza, I'm Robert Price. Back to you.
Well, we gave you the statewide and local results by numbers as they stand now, but there's still plenty of counting left to do.
Indeed, there is. And we go live now to Chris Burton at the Kern County Elections Office in downtown Bakersfield with the latest on county returns. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Jim. And that's right. The recall election has been called, but ballots are still coming in here in Kern County. If you look through this window behind me, you can see these poll workers are indeed putting those ballots through the counting machines, constantly coming up with new numbers here. Now, the story of the night here at the Kern County Elections Office has been voter turnout. it's been about 19% voters have turned out, according to the latest numbers. Now, I should clarify, those are early mail-in ballot returns. As I said, poll workers are continuing to count these ballots, and we should have numbers updated throughout the night. But that 19%, that's one of the lowest county numbers reporting in the state. So low voter turnout, it seems, although the Secretary of State expected about 50% here in Kern County. Jim, Tammy, back to you guys.